Hare Krishna, good afternoon everybody. Sorry I didn't do this on the weekend. We went away on a road trip and I went to go to the Hare Krishna temple in Christchurch and to a music place to get a new harmonium, to get my old one fixed, and I got another one as well, and a mridanga drum and some other musical instruments. So came back last night, so here I am. So I thought today I would do comparison between the two scriptures on the idea of humility and being humble. So if we start with the Bible, so we've got James chapter 4 verse 10, where we are told, humble yourselves in the sight of the Lord. We have Ephesians chapter 4 verse 2. Instruction says, be completely humble and gentle. Be completely humble. 1 Peter chapter 5 verse 6. Humble yourselves under God's mighty hand. And lastly from the Bible today, Matthew 23 verse 12. Whoever exalts himself will be humbled, and whoever humbles himself will be exalted. Then moving to the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 13, verse 8, we are told from the Lord himself, from Krishna, his instruction that he gave down, says the following: humility, pridelessness, non-violence, tolerance, simplicity, approaching a bona fide spiritual master, cleanliness, steadiness, self-control, all these I declare to be knowledge. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, verse 47. You have a right to perform your prescribed duty, but you are not entitled to the fruits of action. Never consider yourself to be the cause of the results of your activities. So, in the Gita, the first quote I gave you, Krishna explains to humanity what is a definition for spiritual knowledge. So what is an all-encompassing definition of this word knowledge? And the first two things mentioned there are humility and pridelessness. In other words, don't be proud. And in the other Gita quote, we are told that we must not consider ourselves to be the cause of the results of our activities. So you must be humble, because if you do a good job at something and you've done really well in your career and you have plenty of money, or even on a smaller scale you've done a piece of art or you've created a garden bed and it's come out great, we have a tendency to think that the result of our actions is all down to us. It's our ingenuity, it's our hard work, it's our brains, it's our creativity that's created this wonderful garden. But we are told, never consider yourself to be the cause of the results of your activities. So that's a kind of humility, so that when you create that beautiful garden bed, instead of standing there being prideful, which we were told to be prideless, so if you stand there being proud of yourself and look what I created and aren't I clever, that's not humbleness and that's not humility. Humbleness is to look at that created flower bed and thank the Lord for working through your hands, for giving you inspiration and for powering your hands to do, empowering you to do that work and to come out with that great result, so that you ascribe these successes to the Lord rather than to yourself. That's an example of humility. So we can see that both scriptures are instructing us to avoid pride, ego, and to be prideless and to have humbleness and humility. Matthew even goes so far as to say, whoever exalts himself will be humbled. So the more you stand at your flower bed exalting yourself as, aren't I amazing and incredible and creative to do this, then somewhere down the track some humbling thing is going to happen. So better to be humble and be real and know where that capacity came from. In every single thing that we do in our lives, whether it's the garden bed, whether it's a career, whether it's building a house, whether it's baking cookies that came out really, really lovely. Just always to remind ourselves, where did that power come from? Who empowered my brain to understand the recipe or create the recipe to make those cookies? We are like a pair of tongs. If you have a fire and you're cooking using hot coals and you need tongs to lift things and move things around, it's not the tongs that's doing the work. The tongs are just inert matter. It is the hand that is moving the tongs to do the work. Similarly, we are just, without the power of the Lord working through us, without that animating force of the soul, that energy and power that comes from the Lord, without that, we are also just inert matter, otherwise known as dead. So every move, every thought is due to the animating spark that is inside us. And that animating spark that gives us life and intelligence and love and capacity and creativity. It's not us. It comes from the Lord. So, yeah. So the moral of the story today is be humble, or at least try to remind ourselves to be humble when we can. Thank you. Hare Krishna, everybody.